Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to cover a recently released PlayStation PC game. Went super under the radar. It's actually a decent little release on PC, however, I think this game is grotesquely overpriced, which the hardcore fans of this game probably will push back on, but we'll talk about that. And did you know that Starfield's expansion came out a few days ago, and it's not being received all too well? Man, another indication of... I don't want to say Bethesda being washed, because while I own Shattered Space, I have not played it yet. Guys, there's so much to play that Starfield's expansion is not something at the top of my priority list right now, but the reception isn't all too strong, so we'll talk that in a little bit. But first of all, Until Dawn by Ballistic Moon, a rebuilding of the game, has dropped on PC. Now, Until Dawn came out all the way back in 2014. While this is... a relatively well-received game, I would say, going back to 2014. It's not like it was at the level of the PlayStation exclusives that people really think about. It was done by Supermassive Games, the original Until Dawn, and it was more of a interactive, narrative-driven horror title, kind of reminiscent of, like, the Quantic Dream games and being decision-based, narrative-driven, etc., etc., had a cheesy horror movie vibe to it. I actually enjoyed it quite a lot, but a decade ago, I was very vehement with my opinion of the game was overpriced at $60, and that was 10 years ago. What is this re-release priced at? $60. Yes, 10 years later, and while they have improved the visuals, and this is the first time the game's on PC, this game is $60, and obviously as a PlayStation published game, it does require PlayStation account linking. I'll mention that just on the basis that I think it's relevant to mention it, but at this point, this is something that you guys should expect unless Sony outright does a Ubisoft and they change their whole outlook on their release structure, which it seems like Ubisoft is doing. And Ubisoft, while they're releasing their games on Steam, are still going to require you to go to Ubisoft Connect from everything we can venture to guess for now. Sony going forward, Horizon Zero Dawn, Until Dawn, I'm sure when Last of Us Part 2 PC drops, so on and so forth, as those games drop on PC, I imagine that all of those games are going to require PlayStation account linking, which I wouldn't have that big of a problem with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I always find account linking annoying. However, the real issue of this is the fact that PlayStation Network is not available in so many different regions. That is the major issue I have with it. We go through Rockstar launcher for Red Dead Redemption 2. We go through Ubisoft launchers for Assassin's Creed. We go through EA launchers for Star Wars Survivor, Jedi Survivor, so on and so forth. I believe Dragon Age Veilguard will be native on PC, and Dead Space Remake was native on PC. So it's interesting, like, the selection process as far as what games end up native and what games require account linking. PlayStation going forward, I do imagine that the majority of their games are going to require account linking. I shouldn't even say majority. All of their games are going to require account linking, except for the ones that are already existing. And even then, you see that they're trying to do these remasters. They're trying to spin the games that are already existing on PC to require account linking, like Horizon Zero Dawn, like I'm sure they're going to do with Days Gone, and I would not be surprised if it happens with God of War 2018 as well. Actually, I would be surprised if it doesn't happen with God of War 2018 if they decide to re-release that next year, 2026. That just makes a lot of sense to me, just, you know, looking at how Sony does things. But back to Until Dawn, this game is $60, and while, you know, Last of Us came out on PC and that was $60 and that port was terrible. Don't get me wrong, it was not worth $60 on the basis that the port was terrible. However, I can at least understand that Last of Us 1 is one of the most iconic video games of all time. It's one of the best received video games of all time. Even if I don't agree with the $60 price tag, especially with how bad the PC port was. Let's say that PC port was exceptionally good. I wouldn't have cared about the $60 price tag that much with Last of Us Part 1 because it was one of the best received games of all time. It's one of the most iconic PlayStation games of all time. I get the understanding as far as that's concerned. Until Dawn, on the other hand, like, bro, it's Until Dawn. Like, we gotta quell our expectations here for these games. $40, $30, I think that would have been fine. At $60, this is absolutely egregious. And the game right now has a mixed reception, 299 reviews, and 58% positive. If you go onto the community hub, it's not like Until Dawn was ever gonna crush it from a concurrent player count, but there's only 2,000 people playing the game. I really do wonder what Sony's expectation level levels with these games going forward are, because absolutely with the account linking, more than anything really, even more than the price point I believe, they are going to hinder their success level on PC, and that is something for them to weigh. You guys, like, I see some people being like, oh, God of War Ragnarok isn't doing as well as God of War 2018, Sony should reconsider their PC plan. Guys, it's not doing as well because of something PlayStation implement. You know what PlayStation could do if the sales numbers aren't at the level that they want them to be? They could go back on that implementation and start not requiring PSN account linking. They can easily do that. That is for them to weigh the value that they're getting from account linking being a thing versus it not being a thing and selling more copies. Is the sacrificing of copies being sold of an Until Dawn, of a God of War Ragnarok, of Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, is it worth it to implement your account linking? That is not something I can answer. That is something that Sony can answer, but I don't see the lackluster sales because of account linking, and because, you know, Until Dawn was never going to do amazing, but Ragnarok should have done better. It just is hindered by the fact that it does have account linking. I already went through the numbers and the stats with you guys. It's obvious that that was the reason that game was hindered. But yeah, that's for them to decide if they want to go back on that. In the case of Until Dawn, if you don't care about account linking, which I know a lot of you guys don't, add it to the wish list, pick it up when it's 20 to 30 bucks. $60 is just highway robbery for a game like this, and it's a shorter game, it's very narrative driven, which isn't a bad thing. Shorter narrative driven games, I'm totally cool with that. It's just Until Dawn is not that game that can get away with a $60 price tag 10 years after its initial release. Like, come on now. Again, at $30, I think it would have been fine. At $40 even, I think it would have been okay. $60 is just, come on, man, what are we doing here? Moving on from that, another not-so-great reception is Starfield Shattered Space on PC. Obviously came out on Xbox as well. Dropped on September 30th. Right now on Steam, mostly negative reviews. 1,987 reviews, 31% positive. I have not played it myself. I did get the Starfield Deluxe Edition last year, and, you know, I didn't even hate Starfield as much as a lot of other people. I thought there was some fun to be had, but Starfield really exemplifies the problem I think so much of modern gaming has, and it just got way too big for its own bridges. And it's the problem where you just get bigger and bigger and bigger in terms of the scale of the game, but ultimately, as you are increasing the scale of the game, the content is getting diluted. And it does look like with Shattered Space, one of the focal elements was them trying to correct that and being more of a focus game. It seems like the reception isn't that strong, and man, I look at Starfield, I look at Shattered Space, we could just assess it as Starfield is a wash and it's just a bad game, but so Elder Scrolls 6 is really going to be make or break. Elder Scrolls with Bethesda, they're going to be leaning on an IP that has so much history attached to it, but Bethesda, it took them 8 years to put out Starfield and it got a mixed reception. Prior to that, Fallout 4 got a fairly good reception, but man, look at Fallout 3 into Skyrim. That was a 3-year turnaround, and Fallout 3 was incredibly well received, and Skyrim was incredibly well received. You look at Fallout 4 into Starfield, that's 8 years of time, and both games, Fallout 4 wasn't received as well as Fallout 3, and Starfield certainly wasn't received as well as Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. They really gotta, you know, drop something of high quality with Elder Scrolls 6, and that might not even be out in this lifetime, so it might be best to just pull the band-aid off and take this one as an L. Like, it is what it is. You guys tried something, it didn't pan out well, and it is what it is. Not everything's gonna be a banger. It just is unfortunate that 8 years of time was spent on Starfield, and unfortunately, just didn't turn out to the level people wanted it. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, Until Dawn is available now on the PlayStation Store. Excuse me. It's a PlayStation game available on the Steam Store. $60, way too expensive. Add it to the wish list. If anything, account linking gonna hinder that game as well with 2,000 concurrent players. 1/10, you guys. Less than 1/10, like 8% of what God of War Ragnarok had. Until Dawn is no God of War, like it is what it is. But and Starfield, not too great of a reception there either. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.